Hi guys, it's Elmarie here from Worcester, Western Cape, South Africa. I am recording from my tiny little shoppy over there, and on this side is the table that I have now brought in here to do my cutting for sewing on. So this is my little space, other than that little space, which is where I work. So, thank you very much for all returning viewers, and welcome to everybody who's new. My podcast is mostly about dyeing, knitting, maybe some spinning at some point, but I don't really spin a lot, and sewing. And yeah, that's really what it is about. My podcast is also very short still because it has, I'm still on the standard version. I'm still trying to figure out how long it's going to take for me to be able to go to the hour version. Can't figure that one out. Don't understand a word they're telling me. So if somebody has some advice about that, please comment and tell me. Please subscribe to the channel if you like it. Like and subscribe, and there's a little like a bell thingy that you can actually press to get notifications of any new podcasts. You will find me on social media. Ooh, I'm nice and orderly today. I don't know what's going on. I think it was the hot chocolate I just had now. Anyway, just not to contradict myself there, you can find me on social media as A Cup of Yarn on Facebook, A Cup of Yarn on Instagram, and then those are two I am most active on. I'm on Twitter, but I don't use Twitter. I'm on Pinterest, but I don't use Pinterest. All my details will be down in the description box. I'm also on Ravelry as Allah73, and there is a podcast group, which means I still have to change the name of my podcast, which I think I will if I can just figure out how. Telling you these things are really new to me. So yeah, it's my yarn run it over. That is the group there. Just a reminder, I am still running a make along, and I've extended it to the 9th of August. So now you've got a nice long space. I've extended it for that reason, because I thought, you know what, maybe a month wasn't long enough. I've got some people participating already, and it really is nice. There will be a draw at the end of the make along, and there are prizes that I will give out. So far it's yarn and a project bag, and I know I did say that there will be knitting needles, knitting needles included, one set of them, and so there's quite a lot of prizes that can be added onto the whole thing. So come and join me. The theme behind the make along, and the only rules that there's like a small amount of rules, but it's not hectic. The only thing is natural fibers only, and from your own country that you live in. So the more local you can get that fiber from, the better. But from your own country, it is really a question of supporting the people, the dyers, and the people of your own community and your own country. I think, I mean, if you're living in America and you get yarn from Washington when you're living in Texas, that's fine. What I mean is, if you're living in Washington, don't use yarn from China. I've got a beef with that. I'm sorry, I really do. I have a huge issue with it. So just those are the only rules of the make-along. So join us. It is really fun. The stuff that's been posted so far, there's three or four, and it's really beautiful stuff. It really is. It's like the sort of stuff that I'm thinking I'm not there yet when it comes to knitting. Not even almost. I think I need to crochet something and add it on because I'm not there with knitting yet. Okay, so that's with the admin stuff. Let's go over to knitting. Oh no, what am I wearing? I'm wearing another Mandy boat top that I made from a different fabric, and it's just so much better. I'll show you. Okay, no, I can't really show you. It's just a plain, oh, and I've got a needle stuck. Sorry. That's just normal for me. I'm not, when I said I'm not an expert with knitting yet, I'm terrible at sewing. So you don't want to see the inside of this top, but I'm using it to layer over other clothes. So I've got, it's not such a cold day today. It's going to be typical South African winter. You know, the first month you still have like a couple of warm days in between, and then it gets really cold. It's cold in my house, therefore I have my cowl on. This is just the cowl I knitted. I can't even remember what the pattern is, but it was just scrap yarns that I knitted. I actually like the cowl to wear it, not necessarily what it looks like, but I like to wear it, especially now because I washed my hair and my hair is wet, and I don't want my hair next to my skin all the time because that's just asking for a cold, and I don't want a cold, so I put this on. It's nice. Anyway, so that's what I'm wearing. And now I've gone completely off track. Oh, about the sewing bit. I'm enjoying the sewing. I've got a couple of patterns that I want to do. I am bent on getting a handmade wardrobe, which takes me to whips because I have 0 FOs to show. It has been a really very busy week, and sometimes I feel I started a bullet journal again. I don't have it with me, so I can't show it to you, but it's a bigger one to keep track of also my dyeing recipes. I'll talk about that now. But I keep feeling I am so slow. I'm too slow. It's either that or time is just really flying. It feels like I've got so many ideas in my head to get done. And I don't get them done. I go back to my bullet journal. I have like 5 things to do, but in that 5 thingies is like a lot of little thingies. So, I mean, my bullet journal states, go and hunt for dyeing material. I'll talk about that in a minute. And it looks like one thing, but it's not just one thing. It's literally getting in my car and driving around looking for dyeing material. So sometimes I just feel I am either too slow or time just is too fast. I mean, I get up with my husband and start doing everything that needs to be done, cleaning the kitchen, washing the washing, whatever, and then eventually getting to my actual work, and then it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm thinking, what happened? I didn't even take a tea break here. What happened? I don't know what went wrong. So yeah, anyway, talk about the dyeing bit now. as far as whips are concerned, this is how far I am with my Alex sweater. This is such a quick, easy pattern to follow that if I had enough time, it should have been done by now. It really is very quick. You just, and it's top down. I am never doing a seamed. Honestly, never is a very terrible word, because every time you say I'm never doing it, you end up doing it. But I don't want to do a seamed garment again. Honestly, it was really a pain. Anyway, so I'm almost done with this part, the shoulder, the raglan part. And I'm sort of going, I just want to finish this so that I can do the rest. Because the rest is just stocking knits, mindless knitting. Here, I still actually have to keep track, because I'm not used to knitting this. I have to keep track of my increase and my plain rows. So it's a raglan increase. And I just have to sort of, I had this small little book and I just wrote PI, PI, PI. And just sort of tick them off, because so that I can just remember, okay, this is a plain row, this is a increase. This is a plain row, this is an increase. What I really like about this, and I have to be very honest, I have big arms. I've got proper German auntie big arms. It's not my fault. I've got a German heritage. That's my father on my dad's side. And I'm built like all of that side of the family. So it's like really, I'm not built small. I'm not petite. Even when I'm really thin, I'm not petite. And I'm not very thin at the moment at all. I think I'm about 20 kilos overweight, but that's besides the point. Even when I'm completely thin, I still have a large structure. Well, short, but not tiny, if you know what I mean. What I really like about this is that I can work out the size of my arms, so that this can actually fit over my arms comfortably. So I'm really excited about this. I want to finish this I really want to finish this week. And then if I'm working with, at the moment, this purple, light purple, that was done with red cabbage. I dyed this one up with the red cabbage. It's difficult to show you the color properly. See? But it really is a very interesting color. It's a solid. Please excuse my nails, they look terrible. So this is the yoke really. And then I'm going to be switching over to this color, which I think is called Purple Rain. I can't remember, but it's also one of my colors. And then I've got a very dark purple, that's that color, and it's got the lighter parts in, almost like a variegated. That's going to be the bottom. So this is still the yoke. This will be the part of the body, and then the bottom part of the body will be the darker side. So it's the type of a fade. And then what I want to do when I'm done with that is to use surplus, the wool I still have left of it, which I hope will still be quite a bit, to make a beanie. So that's the plan. Make a beanie out of it. I've also got like of the other, the first sweater I made, I've still got some of that color left, and I'm sort of making a mini cowl with that type of a thing. More a neck warmer really. Then I've also got this Lindoro on the needles, and it is stuck right there on the needles where I showed you the last time, because this for me is thinking. It's I have to think, although it's ribbing, and I shouldn't really have to think. But because it is small needles, thin needles, and I'm thinking it will be less of a fiddly thing once I go over to the thicker size needles, to these ones, because I'm used to knitting socks with this. I'm not used to knitting 288 stitches. But I'm thinking that once I'm done with the ribbing and I can switch over to the larger needle, it will actually go faster. And I really want to finish it because I actually, once I'm done with this and I'm done with this, I want to start the Sapila color work sweater. The colorwork sweater, I think I already said this in the previous episode, but is done with also a fingering weight single. I have plenty of that available right there, but I have to be honest, I'm not sure if I want to do that with fingering weight. Because this is almost like a spring or a fall type sweater, and we are in winter, and I think it's going to be a cold one. So I'm not so sure, which is why I'm doing the Alex one. The cast on is exactly the same actually. It's both of the sweaters. Just check. Yeah, the cast on is 120, and it was 120 with that one. So I'm not sure if I just use different needles if I'll get exactly the same effect. I think so. I think if I just use the larger needles, I'll probably get the same effect. But I'll do a swatch with this one and just play it safe. I hate doing swatches, but I'll do a swatch anyway. Okay. To dyeing, which is what I actually want to talk about today. Okay, firstly, let me start with natural fibers and natural dyes. I have been, and I've said this in like every other episode, probably every other I don't know, it's quite a few times that I've said this, and I'm saying it again. I believe that using a natural fiber, or a fiber as natural as possible, we're not living in the 20, as I say in Afrikaans, in the 18-voet. We don't live somewhere in the 1800s anymore, where natural fibers are so easily and readily available that you can just go get them. Well, not in South Africa, not here, unfortunately not. I mean, we've got a huge wool industry, and the wools go to a mill in PE, and that's the only mill available. And that mill has been going for ages and ages and ages and many, many moons. And that's all people do. They take the wool, they have it processed there. So that's how it works. So it's really a monopoly. And the smaller mills that I've rocked up are all doing alpaca, which is really expensive in South Africa, because it's like this little niche market, and it's not like there's any financial support from the government side, so everything is done on that farm by the farmer with their money. That's one of the things, by the way, in South Africa, farmers don't get financial support. We've got an interesting country. So, sourcing fiber, a completely natural fiber in South Africa, is really a challenge. The fibers I get from the mill in PE are already spun. and even the unspun ones are all superwash. You really have, there's one other company that I know that you can buy the unspun yarns for in non-superwash, but then I have to spin it, and I'm not that great of a spinner. I have a friend that's a really awesome spinner. You know who I'm talking about. She's really good. And I told her, you know what, if we can get the non-superwash tops and she can spin it, we can sort of collaborate. But she lives in Witbank, which is really far away from me, and transport wise, by the time it gets to me, will be a pretty penny. So at the same time, I don't have such an issue with superwash, because that there are people who are allergic to lanolin, and sheep wool still has all its lanolin in it, and superwash removes the lanolin, so in that case it's fine. Also, if you have little children, you know you're making something that has to be washed every day or every second day, superwash is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it does go through a chemical process to get it to be superwash. Here's the interesting little thing now. I started experimenting, and it's been a long time coming. I've been watching podcasts, and I've seen it so many times, people using natural dyes, plant fiber dyes, and I started working on it, and then I thought, you know, I don't know how I'm going to sell this. Business-wise, I don't know how I'm going to sell this. And then the final trigger was that I saw a book that somebody else bought on Instagram, and she posted it on Instagram as Rebecca Burgess. And that was just the final trigger. And I thought, no. I have yarn right here. They are superwash, but I have to do this. I have to start doing this. I am so curious about how this is going to work out, and I just have to do it. And so I did. And this was the first one. This was the red cabbage. Came out fine. And then I've done these so far, and and the other amazing thing is this, that the lady that I do supply wholesale for, Bronwyn Firth from Knit Shop Love, is just as excited about this as I am. So these are going to, well, not these, the 50 grams are with me, but I'm dyeing up 100 grams for her to go to her shop, and the 100 grams will be exclusively in her shop. I have also been able to source an alpaca merino linen blend, which will be here somewhere during the week, which also, thank you to Bronwyn, is I am able to do. So I want to show you guys what I've got. Okay, let's begin with the obvious ones. One of them are already with her, or two of them are already with her, but the one was beetroot. And what's interesting is the beetroot ones I'm going to show you now is the residual ones. But the other one, I used my juicer to get the beetroot out, and it actually still gave me a lot of pink bits in there. But anyway, never mind that. These I did with the onion skins, and you can see, I mean, this one is definitely darker than this one. So this one was, I dyed over this one. I dyed it the second time. Then I have beetroot, and this is, it's amazing how this color comes out. It's almost like an apricot color. Look at that. I mean, honestly, look at that. Then this was done with bougainvillea. Just want to get one of my hairs out of this. This was done with bougainvillea. And my hair is still there. Sorry. Bougainvillea. And these, I think one of them was paprika, and that's not color fast at all. There will have to be a different way. I think you'll have to use a different mordant to get it more color fast. So they both of them are these very almost beigey colors, cream colors. Nice neutrals though, I think. And then these are my all-time favorites. I still like bright colors more, guys. Sorry. Blueberries. They're stunning. I've got another one, and actually what I like about them, these are very expensive and they're not in season. I bought them at Woolworths. So this will be not for now, but I love this color, mostly also because it's such a strong color, and also because what's interesting with this is that I got another one out of the same batch, and it was 125 grams. So ones that are in season, and I've got a friend just down there around the corner from me, actually farms them, so I'll go get some. This is daisies. Daisies, and we call them stink Afrikaners, but I don't know what their actual name is. But it's just a very strong yellow flower. So these are what they look like together. And I'm absolutely in love with this. I have to say, I'm in love with it. I'm in love with the process. I love the concept behind it. It's amazing how if you're doing acid dyes, which I, by the way, will continue doing. I'm not just going to stop that because this is a much more expensive, even though you would think it would be cheaper, it's more expensive actually. But anyway, what I wanted to say is that I absolutely love the process and the thoughts behind it. So I'm having a separate series of the alpaca, and it's going to be expensive. No way to get around that. But then absolutely 100% natural fibers, non-superwash fibers with natural dyes. And that's going to be the separate series. It will be available in my shop, very small amounts at a time. And it will also be available at Knit Shop Love, also very small quantities at a time. There's not going to be a large amount of stock at a time. So if you want it, you need to go buy it like the minute it gets out. So those are the exciting bits. I don't have a lot of time left. I've got a lot of other stuff to tell you guys, but unfortunately I'm still on half an hour. I will keep you updated on Instagram about this. As I said, I'm not stopping with the acid dyes because that is still the less expensive series of yarns that will still be available. And I'm not going to stop with that. I know there's a need for that as well. The one thing you will not get in my shop ever is acrylics. Oh, just shop updates, not at the moment. Busy experimenting, not going to happen. The other thing is I've still got a sale running on the cottons. Please don't forget about that. I'm really trying to sell out the old stock. So please go check that out. And all the other details you will find on the website itself. Okay, so I am going to say goodbye and thank you for watching, and please come back and subscribe. The more you subscribe, the more I can make this podcast a bit more professional and do a bit more to make it just nicer. Just a bit nicer. At the moment, I'm stuck with what I have. So please subscribe, please like and share so that I can get all the subscribers I possibly need. Okay guys, have a great day and week. Bye.